Welcome back to the weekly portion, the first verse of the Haftara. So this week we're reading actually two weekly portions. Sometimes we read two in order to fit all the weekly portions into a one-year cycle. So we read the weekly portion of Tazria and the weekly portion of Metzora. Both of them are in the book of Leviticus. And for the Haftara, we read from 2 Kings chapter 7, verses 3 to 20. Before we read this verse, I want to remind you that I offer a range of courses. First one is called Become a Hebrew Reader, for those of you who want to read Hebrew with accuracy and confidence in a step-by-step, hand-in-hand method. So look the details in the description of this video. I offer other courses of reading groups, Book of Ruth, Book of Jonah, Book of Genesis, Book of Judges, and other options as well. And if you have any questions, you can send me an email and I'll meet with you and explain the process and all of the options. Now let's read this once regular, once with a melody, and then talk about a little bit about the grammar and ask a question, as you know, about the connection between the subjects of the weekly portion and the prophets. So, ve'arba'a anashim hayu metzora'im petach hasha'ar vayomeru ish el re'ehu ma anachnu yoshevim po admatnu. And now with a melody. וארבעה אנשים היו מצורעים פתח השער ויאמרו איש אל רעהו מה אנחנו יושבים פה אדמתנו. So for lepers, for people who were lepers, we have several grammatical points that we can talk about here. We have two examples for the participle. One of them is metzoraim, combining the verb hayu, which is the third person common plural of the katal of the root hey yod yod. In the lexicons, you would find hey yod hey. Okay, with the participle Metzora. This is a pual participle. Many participles in Hebrew have the mem at the beginning, not just in Hebrew, but in Semitic languages, other Semitic languages as well. And this is a pual verb. The pual verbs are characterized by a dagesh in the second root letter, which here is absent because the resh is a guttural letter, which usually doesn't take a dagesh, or almost never essentially takes a dagesh. And because it doesn't have a dagesh, instead of having an oo sound, an oo vowel before it, we have a compensation here in the form of an o vowel, which is considered to be longer. I'm not getting into short and long vowels. This is part of the course Become a Hebrew Reader that I've mentioned earlier today. So hayu metzoraim, they were lepers. The participle in Hebrew can serve either as a verb, as a noun, or as an adjective. Okay. In this case, it's essentially modifying those people, functioning more like adjective. Okay. So they were lepers, or somewhere, again, nouns and adjectives in Hebrew are quite close. We have an example of a participle functioning as a verb here. Ma anachnu yoshevim. So here we have a rhetorical question they're asking themselves. Ma anachnu yoshevim po admatnu. Literally, what are we sitting here until we will have died? That is, what's the purpose of us sitting here? We'll just die if we're sitting here. And yoshevim here is again a masculine plural participle. You can see it has the same ending as metzoraim, yoshevim, Same goes for anashim. That is the regular masculine plural ending of nouns, adjectives, and participle, which decline like nouns and adjectives, essentially. And preceding that, we have the independent pronoun, anachnu, which is the first person common plural independent pronoun. We, when the participle is used as a verb, as in this case, it has to have an explicit subject. So we have anachnu yoshevim. We are sitting. Okay, we are dwelling, we are sitting. Anachnu yoshevim. Another phrase that we have here is ish el re'ehu. This is one of the ways of biblical Hebrew to say to each other. Okay, to one another. Literally, a man to his fellow man, a man to his neighbor. Okay, a man to his friend. And last grammatical point I want to make here, which is nice and quite different than modern Hebrew. They are saying, what is the purpose? Why are we sitting here? Ad matnu. Matnu is a katal verb. Now, this verb in the katal form, first person common plural, again with a nu at the end, indicating the first person common plural of the katal, matnu, is very interesting because it does talk about a future event. Okay, they are saying, why are we sitting here until we, and then the form matnu is a katal, which usually reflects a past action. But in biblical Hebrew, again, it's a big discussion. You can see how in this case, this form of the katal is used to describe what would be a future perfect in English, until the point in which we will have died. Okay, so we'll stay here until we have died already. Okay, until we have completed our action of becoming dead, or the state of becoming dead. So you can see how the katal verb actually expresses a future situation, a future action. Okay, more as a stative verb rather than a dynamic verb, but still a future situation. I want to finish with a question. So the weekly portion as well as the Haftara talk about leprosy. I want to ask you, which king in the Bible was hit with leprosy by God, and what was the reason for him to get such a punishment? And that's it. Bye-bye, guys.